I know that when you look at me, there's so much that you just don't see. But if you would only take the time, I know in my heart you'd find, oh, a man who's scared sometimes, who isn't always strong. Can't you see the hurt in me? I feel so all alone. I wanna run to you. Ooh, I wanna run to you. Ooh, take me in your arms, keep me safe from harm. I wanna run to you. Ooh, if I come to you, will you stay or will you run away? Each day I play the role of someone who's always in control. But at night, I come home and turn the key. There's nobody there, no one cares for me. Whoa, what's the sense of trying hard to find your dreams without someone to share it with? Tell me, what does it all mean? I wanna run to you. Ooh, I wanna run to you. Ooh, won't you take me in your arms, keep me safe from harm? I wanna run to you. Ooh, but if I come to you, ooh, tell me, will you stay or will you run away? Run away. I need you here, I need you here to wipe away my tears, to kiss away my fears. Whoa. If you only knew how much I wanna run to you. Ooh, I wanna run to you. Won't you hold me in your arms and keep me safe from harm? I'll run to you. But if I come to you, ooh, tell me, will you stay or will you run away?
Welcome to Meet the Band! I love it. I love it. Okay, we have an amazing day today. Okay, we know those. I'm going to throw out some names here. Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, Kenny Loggins, Barbara Streisand. And we've got songwriters here today who have written unforgettable songs that will all be with us. These are the songs that, you go through life and they pop in and you think of memories that you've been through, right? Oh, this is great. See, I'm thinking sometimes I have notes. I don't need notes. It's all up here, except for a few brain cells that exploded a few years ago, but that's okay. We've got a man here. I'm going to introduce him now. What is it? We got 6 Oscar nominations. We've got Grammy nominations. We got a Grammy winner. We've got Golden Globes. Everyone. John Friedman! I love it. There he is. And I love your shirt.
Thanks, man. My wife.
Only there to see you.
Oh, so good to see you,
man. John Friedman!
I thought there'd be like 3 people here.
For you?
Important was speaking today. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah.
What are we flying?
Yeah, this is you, and you could take whatever bottle that you like.
If one's cold, I'll take that.
Okay.
Now, okay, yeah. Yeah.
So, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
The traffic getting down here, but other than that, it is L.A.
Well, I was reading your bio this morning, and it really hit me about how, you started as a singer-actor?
Singer-songwriter. Well, I did a lot of schools before I got to that stage.
But, when you were young, you liked to sing?
You saying I'm not young?
Well, no, you're a fetus. Like me.
I was in bands playing all over New York. I'm from New York, and I was in bands playing all over New York.
Right.
And then I kind of had an epiphany one night at a club, which was I was playing. I came off the stage, and if any of you guys have ever done any performing, has anybody in here done any performing? Yeah, maybe a little tiny bit. Well, that you're kind of a rock star for the moment. You come off stage, and people are like, even if you're not very good. So I'm not sure I wasn't all that good, but I was kind of looking down at myself and going, this is fun. A little adulation is nice once in a while, but I didn't really care. I really cared about was making music, not being a star, quote unquote, in the limelight. So I walked home in New York. You can actually do that. And I thought, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to be a song. I was writing song and producing, but I'm going to be just a songwriter or producer, and I put the artist thing aside, write for other people.
And I read that this morning about, you wanted to be a songwriter. You wanted to give the love through your music to everyone, but you didn't, quote, want it to be a star, which...
Didn't care. I like performing, but I think if you want to be a star, you have to crave that line. You have to really come alive. A guy like Michael Jackson, for example, he was very quiet, timid off stage, from what I understand. But on stage, obviously, the guy was a superstar.
Right.
I was like, I like performing, but I don't need that limelight. I don't need the applause. I want to write songs that move and touch people with. And I was very fortunate to be able to do so for a lot of years with a guy standing in the back there. We'll bring up at a certain point in the Ridge. That's what I really wanted. I wanted to make music, but I didn't really need to be a star. And I wanted to live that lifestyle. I wanted to kind of, all I have was family and call it.
Well, and it shows because the couple times that we've hung out for lunch or whatever, you and Allan are just so real, so loving, and that I guess that comes from the creative writing too. And in my eyes, and you say I don't want to be or I'm not a star, but you are.
Oh,
because of what you've written. Oh my God, what was your first song that you went? This is the one that came out.
The first song that really broke through, you mean?
Yeah. Was that James?
Lies of Heart, yeah. That was the first big hit. Yeah.
Okay.
Written with Allan. Great war stories with Allan. I'm happy to tell them.
I will. Well, I would love that. Now, where did you meet? Well, should we call him up, I guess?
Allan!
Rich,
ladies and gentlemen!
Allan Rich, everyone! Oh yeah, we got one for him. Allan Rich, we got the songwriting duo here today. So you got them all. Oh, I love this. I love the hugs. We got the hugs.
We already did this before. In the green room.
In the green room, they practiced. Yeah, right. I love it. They don't need to practice. You just boom, magic comes out.
That's not true. It's a lot of hard, but we've been very blessed to be able to work together because we have a real bond as people, and also we have an incredible chemistry. We had from the very first song we wrote.
very first time we sat in the room together.
Right.
You know, even before we sat in the room together, because we started writing it over the phone.
Yeah. On the phone. Well, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, it's like a miracle to find. I'm sure some of you, when you're performing, and you know how important it is to interact with other people and get the energy from the other person to help you perform. But the crazy thing about Judd and I is the very first song
One of the many crazy.
the very first song we ever wrote was a #1 song in America. And the second song we ever wrote was a #1 adult contemporary song in America. So you look at yourself and you say, wow, that's magic, and that's something so hard to find. You don't want to give it up. And so Judd and I have been writing songs like brothers for like over 30 years.
Well, where did you meet?
You can tell that's in me.
Well, okay, so I moved out here from New York. And I was working with a publishing company named Pure Music. I wasn't officially signed to Pure Music yet, but I had been doing one-off deals, which means they liked one of my songs. They'd see if they could do something with it. Another one, they liked that one. Not the other one, not so much, but I liked that one. It was kind of like dating. We were kind of getting a dating business relationship to see if we wanted to do a long-term deal. And the head of the company at that time, and still until very recently, she just retired, was a woman named Kathy Spadberg, who was a very good friend of mine, and a very good friend of Allan's.
Correct.
And she kept saying to both of us individually, I think you guys should write together. I have a feeling you would do something really special. And it's very rare for anyone to have that kind of vision. Even people whose job it is to have that vision, namely music publishers, they don't usually have that kind of sense. And Kathy wasn't even her job wasn't to be a creative music person. She was a business person. She was running the business side of things, but she had a great ear and she had a great sense of music. And she just kept saying, you should work together. Well, Allan was very busy and I was very busy, and we kept, we'll meet. And I think Allan doesn't agree with me. I think we met once or twice at industry events or something like that before. He just, and hi, Allan, nice to meet you. So he went out to lunch with her one day. Comes back to the office just to hang out for a few minutes more and talk a little bit. And she says,
do you have a lyric you're working on?
Yeah, have you contacted Judd, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, I do have a lyric that I'm working on, but I have a verse and a chorus, and I don't want to give it to anybody till I write a second verse.
Right.
So she says, no, I'm calling Judd right now, and you're going to give him the lyric over the phone. And
so
the rest is kind of history.
Okay, so I'm sitting in the living room of a friend whose apartment I'm staying at because my lease expired the Friday before, and my new place wasn't going to be ready for a week. So I needed a place to crash. So I'm living on the couch in a friend's place, and all I have to work with is an old keyboard and an RCA cable going to a stereo system. That was my entire studio. So I'm working away, the phone rings, and it's Kathy. And she says, here. And I go, what? Allan gets to the phone. Hi, it's Kathy. It's Allan. Kathy's making me call you. I don't want you. Like, hi, Allan. What? I'm not really ready. It's not fair. We'll just read it to me over the phone, okay? So he reads. I don't know if you guys know the song. It's called "I Don't Have the Heart." It's James Ingram.
I don't have.
Maybe we'll play it later.
Okay, whatever. You guys can look it up. It's easy to find. So all over the place. Anyway, he reads me the verse and chorus he had written the song. So now, I don't brag about my stuff, but I can brag about this. He wrote it.
Yeah.
And it was so freaking brilliant, I almost fell off my chair. And the chorus goes, I don't have the heart to hurt you. Yeah. It's the last thing I'd want to do, but I don't have the heart to love you, not the way you want me to. And he read me those last 3 lines, and I went, goodbye, I hung up. Literally, I said, goodbye, I'm going to write this. I hung up and ran over to the keyboard and started writing. And in about 15 minutes, I essentially had the gist of the song. And then, you know the song?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Yeah. I'm not putting you on the spot. Anyway, I called Allan and said, I think I have something. And then we got together and we wrote the rest of the song. And I changed a few things lyrically, and then we wrote the rest of the song, lyrics and music together. And we had it finished and demoed 6 days from the time we had that phone call. And then a year later, James Ingram recorded it, and that's a whole story in itself. But we knew it was like telepathy.
And Judd, it's a mutual admiration society because as many of you know, because you're performers, everybody needs a champion. And I'm sure some of you have champions who help you get work and help you get on TV shows and things like that. The thing about Judd is I would hand him, at the beginning when we first met, a lyric. But it was, a lyric is a flat thing on a page. It's not three-dimensional. And I've always felt like Judd always elevated my lyric and made me look like I was really, like I had written an unbelievable lyric. Because he took my lyric and the music just elevated what I was saying. And that is a very hard thing to come by. And so, I still feel that way. We've both written songs with a lot of different people, a lot of very talented people. But I do know that when I really need to have that special something, I know that it always comes from him.
And that was one of your first songs as well?
No, I had a hit record before that with I Live For Your Love a year before that for Natalie Cole. But right after that, I met Judd. Yeah. And then suddenly I really stopped writing with all my other collaborators and just I have to say I had a couple of people that were because I had regular collaborators, and they were very hurt. They were very mad. They felt like I had abandoned them, which I really didn't. I just knew that I found my guy, and I knew that we had something that we had to continue on. So everybody else, it's not that I didn't stop. I didn't write with them.
Yeah.
But my focus was on.
Well, you know what's so great about that is you knew that this is where I need to go.
Yep.
This is going to be the best for me, for us, for everyone.
Well, let me ask you, how many of you have boyfriends or girlfriends? Anybody have a boyfriend or a girlfriend?
I do.
Okay, well, great. Well, you know how magical it is. And it's very hard to find. Yeah. Right? And so, Judd and I have a musical marriage. He has a wife and kids. I have a dog. And he has dogs too. But we have a musical marriage where you have that, it's your special person. Just like in your relationships that you have a special person. So, and that's something that you nurture and you try to, you handle with thick gloves. And that's it. So all these years later, we still have that going on.
Love that. Take it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna throw out a name, and I'd love to hear the story. I'm gonna throw out the name Whitney Houston.
Yeah. Whitney Houston. Let's count. What would you like to hear about Whitney?
How did that come about? How did that award-winning song come about?
Okay, so the song is called Run to You, and we wrote it for Whitney Houston for a film called Bodyguard. And at the time, we had some nice success, and every songwriter and publisher in the world, basically, who had any credibility whatsoever, was given a brief, a piece of paper back in those days, that actually had a couple of paragraphs, four little paragraphs, which described 4 places in the movie that were going to be songs. They needed 4 songs for Whitney Houston to sing. And our publisher said, hey, why don't you take a shot? Everyone was taking a shot. And everyone realized this was the first movie she'd ever done. She was the biggest star in the world. And everyone knew it was going to be Marcus. And they were looking for great songs. So Allan and I said, well, let's write this one. And we did.
We wrote a breakup song.
We wrote a song called Run to You, which was intended for the end of the film. When does anybody know the film about it? You guys think it's not?
And
And the movie when Kevin went, thanks.
then could you say I was probably
Yeah,
That's a good one too, right? That wasn't supposed to be in the movie, but that's a whole other story. It ended up being a pretty big song, as we know. But for our song, it was originally intended for the scene where they break up at the end of the movie, where Kevin Costner and these characters break up and they say their goodbyes, even though they love one another, which ended up with I'm Having Stuff. But that wasn't how it was supposed to. So we write the song, everyone loves it, and we get a call from Clive Davis, leaves a message on Allan's voicemail.
Well, we had a strategy. Judd and I, as you know, even for going on auditions, sometimes you have to use strategy. And the strategy was Judd and I did not know Clive Davis personally, but we knew his right-hand man, which was Jerry Griffin. And so We sent the song to Jerry Griffith,
Well, actually, Carol did.
Carol Winter,
His
And
publisher.
my
connection with Jerry.
and we thought if he likes the song, he'll put it on Clive Davis's desk. And that's exactly what happened. Jerry called and said, I love the song, putting it on Clive Davis's desk. And one day I come home and I have a message on my answer machine saying, hi, this is Clive Davis, and I really like your song that you wrote with Judd, and Whitney likes it too. Call me at the Beverly Hills Hotel. So Judd and I were like blown away, excited, shocked, and we met with Clive Davis at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And all, the thing about the music industry, as well as acting and everything else, nothing's sure. Nothing's a for sure thing until it's a for sure thing. And so they loved the song the way it was, until the director came and called us and said,
Well, actually, even before that, so
tell me about the Clive. Yeah.
Clive called and says, love the song, it's great. He says, but backtrack a little bit. When we did the demo of the songs, people know what a demo is? Music demo?
No, I don't.
Well, it's a these days demos are essentially the same as the records you hear on the radio, but back in the day there was a little distinction between, it was a demonstration tape that demo stands for demonstration. It was a way to show the song to people. So we were going to give it to Whitney, and we got a singer who sounded vaguely like Whitney, who we thought was a great singer, is a great singer. Her name is Valerie Pinkston. She sang the demo, I played the parts, we recorded it, we sent it to them thinking this will show them the song and then they can do the record version of the song for the movie, the final version of the song. So when we did it, when I was playing it, I really felt like it just flew in beautifully without a click track. I played it and I was thinking I'm going to chromatize this, and it just felt so good this way that I kept it. And then I overdubbed some string parts, then I overdubbed some other stuff, and we put the vocal down, we sent it to her. It was very simple and it was out of time. So when Clive calls, he goes, we love the song, but can you do me a favor? We said, what? He said, can you make the demo sound a little bit more like what you used to make? So this is very illustrative of all of the entertainment business. I'm sure you guys have had this experience. Here's the most sophisticated, most powerful record executive in the world at the time, right? Really smart. Went to Harvard Law School, this guy. And so we said, so did I, but don't tell me anyway. So he says, can you make it sound a little more like a Whitney record? And Allan and I looked at one another, we're on the phone, and we said, what do you mean by that? Figuring he'll give us a whole explanation of what that means. And he goes, like a Whitney record. That was all he said. So we go, oh, yeah, like a Whitney record. And we always say yes. We hung up and we went, I don't know. So the only thing we could think of was to put one production on it. Put drums and bass and make it a little bigger and a little more dramatic. That's what we did. And it took, because it was not in time, we had to put drums on top of that track. And drummers are used to playing right in time. And this drummer, it took us hours of work going bar by bar to make it sound like somebody was playing drums. It made sense.
Right.
And we did that. We sent it back, and they loved it. So we thought, okay, now we can start buying the yachts. Which do you want, a blue one? What do you think? The orange one's nice. We're at the yacht, right? Not so fast. Then we get the call. We're working on another record at the time for a guy named Ray Charles.
Oh, yes.
We're in the studio working on that, and the phone rings. And who is it?
Mick Jackson.
The director of The Bodyguard.
And here's what he said. We really love your song for The Bodyguard, but we changed the scene from a breakup scene to a take a chance on me scene.
Want to use it earlier.
Want to use it earlier in the movie. And this is what he literally said to Jen and I. It wouldn't be a big deal to rewrite the whole lyric, right?
Yeah.
So Jen and I had to rewrite the whole entire lyric except...
So we said, no problem. And then we dropped the phone and we collapsed and we were like, hey! And then we picked ourselves up off the floor and rewrote the whole lyric, except I Want to Run to You. That was the hook of the song. That was the big musical moment. And we knew we had to keep that. It just felt so good. We rewrote everything from I Want to Run to You, but you're not there to run to anymore, which was the original chorus, to I Want to Run to You, will you stay or will you run away?
Right.
And thank goodness they loved it.
And everybody's singing it now. And Cynthia
true.
Revo loves it.
Do you know the song? I do.
I wanna run. I better not sing today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Whitney Houston.
I wanna run.
It's a high.
And that won.
No, but that was nominated. We went to the Oscars and a lot of.
And
Those were the Disney years when all the animated
Right.
movies were coming, and there was no. We didn't even write speeches because we knew that the Disney was such a juggernaut.
Right.
But it was obviously a lot of fun. It was a great honor. And, yeah,
But
a lot of fun.
I'll tell you something. A lot of people, whenever we talk about Run To You, everybody always asks me this question. So before you ask me this question, I'm going to tell you the answer. Everybody says, "Did Whitney do I Want to Run to You?" Or was that already written that Whitney had to sing? And the reality is, Judd wrote, "I Want to Run to You."
It was all written.
Was all written, and Whitney just sang it. But everybody thinks that Whitney just made it up. But it was already written.
Everybody doesn't.
Yeah.
Let them think it. It's fine. We don't.
And Whitney was she was so
It was
nice.
so great to see.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful.
And we were in the recording
Incredibly
studio with her, and she was so nice. And can you imagine, and this is the truth, David, I would have died 10 deaths. Whitney asked Judd to go into the vocal booth and sing a scratch vocal in front of Whitney Houston. So Judd sang a scratch vocal for Whitney Houston in the studio. And I would have, and then when he got finished, everybody gave him a round of applause.
They weren't applauding because the vocal was any good. It was just because I somehow got through it. That's it.
Well, to sing in front of Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Well,
There were a lot of fun stories.
Well, it's magic, and it shows. You know, you hear the voice of Whitney Houston or Barbra Streisand singing these songs, but it's what's behind those songs. It's the life, it's the story, it's the rhythm, the beat.
And it's also, like, getting an audition, that you have to do something to make them notice you above everybody else. And Judd and I, we just try to write songs that move and touch people, songs that we love, but there's always something a little special, and that's maybe from the combination of the two of us. But we've had so many stories where we've had to save our songs. The difference between success and failure is about this big, and Judd and I have so many stories about our song not happening, and somehow we turned it around to make it happen.
And lots of songs that have fallen through the cracks.
Correct.
It's playing in luck to a certain extent.
You go to an audition and you're so close and you get a call back, and then someone else gets it, and in the end that person can't make it, so then they call you back and you get it. It's just part of the business.
I'm gonna bring up, because here at Performing Arts Studio West, as we know, we have amazing music instructors, and we've got Mr. Joe Seavey here today. I'm gonna bring him up. I'm gonna let him be up here for a little while. I'm gonna let them schmooze because these are the music men, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
All right.
So wow,
Arnold,
guys, are we honored or are we honored? The years of experience and the talent and the drive and the passion, what makes all this worth it, right?
It's our pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. So many questions.
Maybe start with one.
I'll start with first. Yeah. So, how many songs have you guys written that you thought was going to be the over-the-top one that they go,
4,900.
yeah.
I don't know how many, but we have probably 4 or 5 that and I can think of a couple right off the top of my head where we've always felt like they just haven't had their day. In fact, they keep getting recorded. One of them, there's an artist in the Philippines who's actually kind of a big star over there. You guys have never heard of him, but in his circle over there, he's very huge. In fact, Allan just was on a cruise, and all these people who were on the cruise who were from the Philippines were flipping out when they heard about this artist doing our song.
Everybody wanted to take pictures with
He did a version. Yeah, he did a version of Run to You. He did the original lyric version of Run to You, which no one's ever done. And he did another song of ours, which is the one I was just mentioning, which is kind of one of the ones we always felt that way, which was we always thought that's going to be our next. And it was recorded a bunch of times. It just never has had it small. But it would.
Shaka Khan recorded it, right? You know, Shaka Khan. And you know Shaka Khan?
Yes. I love her songs.
It's called "You Love Us All I Know," so go find it. Record it.
Record.
I mean, stream it a bunch of times so maybe we can make 5-10 cents.
I love that song.
Oh, thank you, man.
I mean, Dan Saka.
Yeah, and this young guy in the Philippines just recorded a version of it. And, yeah, who knows? You never know where it'll come from, but that's one of the ones that come.
That's wonderful. That's really cool. That's a cool story. My other question is, when you start the writing process, like I'm sure that you guys sometimes just write together without having a project. Do you guys do that often?
Well, here's the thing. You have to be very diverse. And then you have to be able to work in a lot of different ways.
Right.
When Judd and I first started, I wrote a lyric and I would hand him a lyric. Judd writes lyrics beautifully as well as music. But I would hand him a lyric. But it morphed as we went along. Judd would have a lyric or he'd have a title. Many times he has a title that we work off of. Or so I could bring him a lyric, he could have an idea, or we could sit in a room and start with nothing, which we've done many times too. Or if we're working with a recording artist, then we have to find out what she's interested in or he's interested in, and what ideas he might have, what song titles he might have, and what they're going through in their life. So you have to work a lot of different ways. Just like for those of you who are actors, you might have a comedy one time, you might have to do a drama sometime, you might have to ad lib sometimes, you might have to have a total script sometimes. So it's just like that with being a songwriter. You have to be versatile and be able to do it a lot of different ways.
I think what he was asking, though, is do you sit in the room and just write songs a lot without having a project to build up like a library? That's a great question, because when we were coming up, it was a very different business. It's changed so much.
Yeah.
It used to be that you could write Run to You for an artist like Whitney Houston, and if you were incredibly lucky and the song was special enough and you pulled all the right strings at the right time, she'd record it. So Allan and I would get together almost every day, except for the weekends. Sometimes even on the weekends.
Like 10 years.
We would get together in the morning at Pure Music, had a studio for me, and it was on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset. And we would work all day long. We would write, we would produce, we would meet with people, we'd have artists come in and out, managers, producers, go to meetings, and we would do this all day long because our goal was to just let's write a bunch of great songs and we'll find homes for it. But that morphed over the years into a very different business, whereas if any of you guys are interested in music, you really should check out Billboard or one of the magazines or even Spotify, where they list the writers of the songs, where you can actually see who's writing these songs. And you'll find out that unlike those days, these days, every single song is co-written by the artist. The artist has to be part of the songwriting process. You can't write a song and then give it to an artist. So the days of Allan and I just sitting and writing songs are pretty much over. However, we'll still get together and write like maybe ideas. We'll come up with ideas so that when we get into a project, we can bring that idea to the project or send it to the artist and say, hey, we thought this would be a good start for you. What do you think? And then we can all finish it together. So we don't write, and there's no point to our writing the way we used to. It's more of a project thing. When a project comes in the door, so we have several interesting things going on right now with artists we've worked with or are working with, and we love that. But it's more kind of what happens, it happens.
Right. That's really cool. Also, you were saying, you kind of answered a question of mine already before I even asked it, but it's like, you'll come up with a title.
We like starting
with a title.
Well, you guys know. I mean, with songs, you like songs, right? Everybody likes music, right?
Yeah.
Some songs, there's a spectrum. Some songs they're just dance bop. So you just want to get on the dance floor and just go crazy, right? You don't really care. Celebrate good times, come on, right? Just the word celebrate, that's all I need to. I don't know many of the other words.
Right, yeah.
But then you get songs at the other end of the spectrum where the words and the concepts are really, really important. Like, does anybody in here know an artist named Olivia Rodrigo?
Yes.
Yeah. She's a pretty big star these days.
Yeah.
She wrote a song called Driver's License. That was the song that broke her. And that's a song at the other end of the spectrum where the lyric is really, really important to the song. So Allan and I almost always like to have, even if it's a song that's going to be a really up-tempo driving song that maybe doesn't need the great lyric, we always try to come up with unusual ideas for songs and titles and concepts, because we don't want to write just another, it's part of breaking through, also making people interested in your songs. If you just write a song called I Love You Baby, well, you know, there have been a few songs called I Love You Baby, so people aren't going to be that interested.
Unless it's Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but generally, people are interested in songs that say something that we've heard a lot of times before, but in a little bit different way.
Yeah,
That's what we try.
we talk about that a lot in class, because we write songs every day in class.
Every day.
Every day. We write songs every day.
Wow.
And, you know, some of them graduate to the recording process, and some of them just don't. And,
But that's the real thing. Same thing with Judd and I.
yeah.
Judd and I, we have a joke. Under Judd's studio, he has a garbage pail. And we always say, you know, let's just always be honest. If the song's not hitting the other one, throw it right in the garbage
We
pail.
call it the ideas file.
Right, and we just throw, and if something's not
Lots of
working for the
ideas.
two of us, we throw it, or either one of us, because we both have to be excited about it, we throw it in the garbage pail.
We don't finish stuff
Unless we can convince each other. And I always say to Judd, well, I can be convinced.
But, you know, I know we're not going to finish a song unless we're both like, wow, this is,
Right.
it's giving us chills. And then if we love it, we figure, well, maybe somebody else out there would.
That's cool. And one more question I have. Do you guys write? Oh, thanks. Do you write lyrics first, or do you ever write melodies first and then try to bang the words into the mat?
Go ahead.
Every different.
Yeah.
Every different. We've done it to starting with the musical track. We've done it starting with words. We have a title. We start writing melodies. I might start playing something now. It goes, well, that gives me an idea. And it's very organic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways to start things. Because I come from like the band days where we would be in a garage and we'd be banging it out, and the drummer, the guitar player, the bass player.
Get a vibe going.
Yeah, and then, you know, we wouldn't know what we were doing. We just thought, this sounds good, this feels good. Then the singer, whoever the singer was, he would, you know, start to come up with an idea that would fit the format, you know.
Yeah.
And we do that too with titles. I used to do this class with them called Picture This. And I would just show them a photograph, and they would have to write a chorus from the photograph.
It's a great thing.
So, like, just little tricks that we try to do to keep everybody on their toes and see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yeah. Now, I want you guys to try to explain how you get into getting your songs published. How did you start that process?
That was a different. I can say as well, that was much easier. I wouldn't say easier, but it was much more. It's more available when we first got started.
It's always super hard.
You know, but it's always hard. And I signed my first publishing deal in 1982, before most of you were born. But just because you sign a publishing deal doesn't mean anything's going to happen.
Right.
And my first publishing deal, nothing much happened.
Yeah.
And so then a couple of years later, I signed another deal, and then things started to happen. But it's very hard to find a publisher today, and especially someone who's going to develop you and support you and be your champion. Today, they want you to have, they want to sign you after you've had the hit record.
Right.
Is that what you were asking when you said, how do you get published? Were you talking about signing the publisher, or were you talking about how do you get the songs out there?
Well, yeah. Well, both. I mean, finding somebody that believes in what you're doing is
Super hard.
It is, and
But it's possible, guys,
Yeah.
You write some really special songs, you develop a relationship with a publisher, or you work with an artist, and somehow the artist starts making some waves, and then all of a sudden people will come to you. They're looking for you if you suddenly start having a little bit of success. The thing about the arts, you guys know this, it's not like I'm going to go to medical school, I'm going to go to law school, I'm going to go to veterinary school, where there's a certain steps that are absolutely pre-planned that you just have to take. And if you take those steps and you work really hard, you come out the other end and you do that job.
It's such a game.
In the music business or the entertainment business in general, there's no linear way to get from here to here. It's just all over the place. And but if you have that dream, you have that drive, and you really believe in your stuff, even though the odds are tough, you gotta go for it. You just take one little step. Don't look at the top of the mountain. So, okay, I'm gonna get here today and for day tomorrow, but one step at a time.
And here's what I would tell you, if I had to give you some advice. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you all know each other mostly?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so you know each other. Somebody in this room is going to have a hit song. Somebody in this room is a great singer. Somebody in this room is a great. Somebody in this room.
We found this.
Yeah, it is.
Is a great producer. Here's the thing. Everybody in this room should be listening to it. If they hear something from somebody else in this room, they should go over to them and say, I really like I like your vocal. And let's say you're a singer. I like your singing. Why don't you try to sing my song and I'll produce it. There's some magic. There's absolutely magical collaborations that could happen in this room. You could find the producer who knows how to produce you. You could find the singer who knows how to interpret your songs. And so I say this is a microcosm of the world. And I would make sure I find out what every single person in this room is best at, and have them play them your songs. Yeah. You play them your songs. Yeah. And say, oh, I like that, or I like it, but it's not me. So I go into the next person. But find out what everybody is doing in this room, because somebody in this room is going to have a magic connection with somebody.
She's real. Amen. And we, a lot of times. Well, just as a question I have for you guys, do you ever work on a song and you love the lyrics, you love the melody, but something isn't translating to the recordings? And when that happens, do you ever consult with someone else? Like, because sometimes I'm too close to things when I'm writing it, and I'm mixing it and producing it and writing it and performing in it, and I'm like, it's just too much me. I got to get away from myself and let someone else kind of take the reins. And it's really hard sometimes to admit that you don't have all the answers. And you you guys ever go through that too, where you're just like,
sure. We're these days, again, we're generally working with somebody else on the songs that we complete, so there is a third person involved at least, a lot of the times. But we've had over the years moments where we're just like, this isn't quite working. I remember one song in particular that was recorded by someone named Melissa Manchester, a big star back in the day. And we had written a version of it, and Allan and I kept saying, this is really cool, but it's just not quite.
I love that.
It's missing.
Love that.
We brought in a really great third songwriter and played it for her, and she made a couple of suggestions, and we ended up bringing Wendy Waldman is her name, and we ended up bringing her in as a co-writer on the song, and that was the magic pill that we needed. And generally, production is very different from the writing part.
Right.
Usually we're pretty cool with the writing part, and usually we're pretty cool with the production. I handle a lot of productions. But a lot of time when I produce stuff, and Allan was always great with suggestions too, I'll work with someone else. Because I don't particularly enjoy the production process. I like seeing the song come together, but there's some people out there who love sitting at computers all day long and trying to find sounds and put them in. I'd rather be writing another song. So I'll do a lot of parts and send them to somebody and say, hey, go do X, Y, and Z, which I don't really enjoy doing. Find the drum loop, and send it back to me. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I produce it myself. It depends on the song. But we have no problem bringing somebody else in.
Yeah,
having the egos. It's always about how can we make this as great as possible.
You're answering all my questions that I was about to ask you.
So you don't get any more questions.
I'm done now. Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of times, you got to, like you were saying, writing the song, and we talk about this in class a lot. Writing the song is not the same thing as producing the song.
Correct.
Once you have the chords and the melody and the lyric, that's, if you were just to come up here and play it on the piano and sing it, it's not going to be the same thing. Like when I take it home sometimes, it almost sounds like a piano ballad when I'm doing it here, but then I take it home, it's like a dance track, like an EDM track or a pop track. And so you know, sometimes is it hard sometimes for you guys when you write it to end up hearing the final version of it, and maybe it went exactly as you thought it would be in your head, or it's so different that you don't know how to feel about it?
Well, I think most of the time, you know, it could go so many different ways in the studio. You know, you can make it so many different things that I think it. For me, I don't know if it ever comes out exactly the way I heard it, but sometimes it comes out better than I thought it would, and sometimes it comes out it didn't quite. You know, there's a song that I love that we wrote with Judd, that I can feel is such a beautiful hit song. It's so much to record. Well, we've tried a couple of different versions of it with different singers. You know, it still hasn't found its day, and sometimes I wonder, is the demo working? Because to me it's such a strong song, and so you know sometimes you revisit things, and then sometimes you just have to let it be what it is. And you know what? Excuse my French, but when you're working with a publisher, they have their own ideas, and half the time they say, "Oh my God, why are you writing ballads? Why is this production the way it is? It should be like this." And you know, Judd and I people said to us, our publishers, "Why are you writing ballads? It's so hard to get them recorded." But it's what Judd and I did, I think, better than most people. So you've got to do what you know you do better than everybody else. And so we did what we loved, and we proved them wrong many a time.
So you have a style and a way of writing if you guys enjoy. Do you guys ever have to work on it where it's like not your particular style, but you've dedicated yourself to saying yes to some?
You know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you know what that means. It's something that takes care of itself naturally because, first of all, two things. When we wrote I Don't Have the Heart, and that became a very big hit, it's a ballad. And so what happens is in the entertainment business, everyone wants to glom on and say, write me another one of those. Give me another, so we ended up writing with a lot of artists who wanted to have a big ballad. And we kind of became known for that. And that's great because we love writing the songs. But we've written many songs over the years that are not big ballads that have had some success or not some success. Most of our success has been with the big ballads because people love that from us.
Yeah.
We tend to, I think we do write those pretty well. But the thing is, you write the songs that you get, people ask you to write with them or for them, the kinds of things that they know you're good at already. And so it's not, we don't usually we won't get a call to do like a hardcore heavy metal song or a call to do a hardcore really edgy street rap song or something because that's not what we do.
Right.
But we've incorporated those elements into plenty of our songs. We do everything. I mean, I love everything.
Yeah.
But when Allan and I had it on the heart, it was pretty clear pretty quickly that was going to be the direction, at least short term, and it ended up working.
Well, you have success in it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, but I'll tell you something. I would love, like Judd and I wrote this song with Jessica Betts that's coming out now as a single. You know Jessica Betts?
Yes.
She's married to Niecy Nash, the actress. Yeah. And we're friends with them. And Judd and I wrote 3 songs with Jessica. And one of them is this really sexy haunt, something that no one would ever expect Judd and I to really write based on what they know about us. And I so hope that something happens with it because it's kind of a little nasty, it's kind of a little sexy, it's kind of, and I want them to say, Judd and Allan wrote that?
Like, damn, you guys.
Wow. And Jessica's raw. It's called She's Raw. And Jessica really sings it really. She's hot.
So go stream that one too for our other 5 cents.
Yeah.
But
check out She's Raw by Jessica Betts because you'll see it's not typical of what people know us for, but we had a ball writing it. And it's fun to try. You know, as an actor or an actress, when you get a role that's so totally different than yourself, it's fun to do it, and we had a ball doing it.
The funny thing is, it's not totally different from myself at all. I love writing. Before Allan, I used to write everything all the time, but we I won't say we got pigeonholed. Loved it. We loved writing melodic.
Yeah.
But I always loved writing anything. And so this was kind of just this was like, let's write an up-tempo song. Yeah, let's do it.
Can I tell you guys a story, my true story from my first publishing deal? And maybe you can relate to it. I don't even know if you know the story, Judd. In 1982, I signed with the Welk Music Group. Lawrence Welk. And Leon Ware, a very famous songwriter, known for his very sexy songs. What was it? What's the singer? Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of the Marvin Gaye songs with Marvin Gaye.
Oh my God.
And so we wrote my first few songs at the company. And there's AJ and BJ, after Judd and before Judd. And so this is before Judd. And so I wrote the 2 very sexy songs, and I was so excited because I wasn't a known commodity, and Leon Well was very famous. But we wrote 2 incredibly sexy songs, and I submitted them to my publisher, and I got fired. Well, we know what happened. I got fired. Because it was a conservative company, and the publishers at the new publisher at the company, what?
You shouldn't have walked into the office in your undies. With me, with the
But one was called X-Rated Love, and one was called, I forgot, but they were really sexy songs, and on. But it was such a conservative company that and here's what was so crazy. The big head of the company had just given me a review a couple of weeks earlier about how great I was doing at the company. And then after I submitted those 2 songs, he called me up and said, "Allan, I have to let you go." What are you talking about? He said, "Well, the publisher is conservative and he doesn't get you." So I wrote sexy songs and I got fired.
Well, you should bring them out now.
Okay.
Because we need some more sexy songs.
Well, we like I said, we write songs every day in class, and we wrote a song recently called "Sinner," and we were just pushing the envelope, And you want to see it?
No.
And we were, throwing words around, and everybody's getting racier and racier with the lyrics, And I'm like, I don't know, we're supposed to keep it PG or I don't know. But everybody was just pushing the limit. And the lyric is, she walked in like she's walking on a movie set. What was it? What is the line? I'm going to brain fart now. Wait, Wait, I got the lyrics in my.
So how did you?
Oh, here it is. She walked in like she's walking on a movie set. Paralyzed, hypnotized, I couldn't catch my breath. She put her foot on my neck like I'm a cigarette.
Yes.
The greatest night of my life, but it ain't over yet.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm weak, I'm lost, I'm powerless. Diva so strong, it's effortless. She looked me in the eyes, I could barely return the stare. She leaves me breathless, got me fighting for air. When I see her, I can't speak, and her kisses make me weak.
Yes.
She's an angel in disguise with the devil in her eyes.
Yes.
And if it's a sin to love her, then I want to be a sinner.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were trying to push the envelope a little bit.
God.
And it's and then we did a couple other songs too, like what was that, the New Religion one?
Oh yeah.
That was fun. Like trying to, some of the songs we write are like, kind of pop stuff, and then some rock stuff. But then we'll get things like that. Well, we write so many songs that I literally forget them. I have to go in.
That's a great lyric. Great lyric.
Not just one person.
I don't know, Magic Man.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take about a 5-minute break now, and then we're gonna have a all of you will be able to ask questions as well. Everyone, we've got Judd Friedman, Allan Rich. We are back. Judd Friedman, Allan Rich. I tell you, I'm having such a good time. It's just, it should be illegal. I wish I was. No. Yeah. Well, I do have a date tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Keep it legal.
I'll keep it legal. I want to, I was going, I got everything out of storage, and I have like 500 albums. I used to collect soundtracks too, and CDs. Oh my God, and other. But I just brought a few as I was running out of the house, and what do we? Of course, we've got the Bodyguard. Oh, Luther Vandross. Now, Luther did. He sang it, and also Patty, didn't she?
And Sheena Easton. This is B.J. before Judd.
The Luther.
Oh, that's Luther wasn't.
Right.
But I have this, the music score. Maybe I could get this autographed by you too, because you both have songs in
That's
here.
true.
One of the rare times we wrote with other people that had songs. It's the same record.
Circle and Lesson to Be Learned.
Correct.
Barbara.
But like Bob or like butter.
Like butter.
Like butter.
So maybe I'll do that.
Is it?
I'm going to throw out one question, and then we're going to bring it to the audience. When we come to you, say your name, speak loud when you ask your question, and one question per person, because I know some people love to say, I have 15 questions, but I want to be sure as many people get as possible. My question to you, both of you, is what brings you the most joy in life?
Go ahead.
Family.
Yeah.
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 My wife and kids. I love music, but nothing like the people you love.
Should I make you laugh? Just as funny. Gucci.
Gucci!
I love that. There you go.
And does your dog have some Gucci
No,
outfits?
I love my dog. I would marry my dog if they would let me.
What kind of dog?
Show them a picture.
But it's hard to. It's
Yeah,
a little
you
on
can't
my
see
phone. But he's a rescue, and I so love him.
What kind of dog is he?
He's part poodle and part terrier, I think, but he looks like Ewok from Star Wars. He's
A lot of size
when I
out
walk on the street, everybody stops and says, what kind of dog is that? He looks like a baby llama.
I have to say, I'm a rescue who needs to be rescued. Okay, we've got some questions now of the audience. I saw your hand, Dresden, first.
My name is Dresden. What's your favorite song?
Of ours that we've written,
Yeah.
or just in general in the world?
Just in general
In the world.
in the world.
Anybody could have written it?
Yeah.
What's your favorite song, Guy?
Well, go ahead. I know what mine is.
Yesterday by the Beatles.
Oh.
Do you know the Beatles?
Oh, yeah.
You know the song Yesterday that Paul McCartney? Yeah, that's still my favorite song about this.
And my favorite song of all time is "Ain't No Mountain High Enough."
Oh! If you need me, call me.
Good song.
Oh, my God.
That's my all-time favorite
Great.
song.
Tracy Turner. Tracy Turner?
Tracy Turner. Hi, Tracy Turner.
My name is Chester. And I too old to like coffee.
Coffee and music.
Those are two favorite things.
Ah.
And it's true. I that off. I don't really this guy's my never find it. We got started up. We need every day until like no it's I have a oyster darling.
I got to come over and listen to your music.
Was there a question?
What question do you have?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that's it. You just wanted to share.
Well, keep going.
I love it. I love it. Blair Webb.
Hi, I'm Blair. What was it like to work with Whitney Houston?
It was incredible. You know how all through your life
you meet people. Some people, there's a spectrum of everything in life from here to here, right? And some people you really, some not, they're okay. That yes, no, kind of yes, and then at the other end of the spectrum, somebody you really go, oh my God, what a special person. Well, in music, it's the same thing. So we've been very blessed to work with a lot of amazing artists, but it's a spectrum. So some of them are, not so good, pretty good, very good, really good, great. And then Whitney Houston was over there somewhere. She was so talented, and she was just blessed, and she was a pleasure to work with. She was easy, and she kept when I was making the record with David Foster with her, and she kept asking me as she was singing, Judd, am I singing that right? And we were all like, what do you say? Because everything she sang was so great, even if it wasn't exactly the way the song was written. It was just every mistake was amazing. She's really gifted.
And I'll tell you a quick story. Judd and I, we were invited to go to the video shoot, and I'd never really been on a video shoot, but the set was cavernous. It was humongous, and at the other end, when we got there, at the other end of the room was this woman, and she was so gorgeous, and I said that, and she was wearing a white flowing outfit, and she was, and I said, Judd, that must be Whitney Stanton, and I said, I think she's even more beautiful than Whitney, and all of a sudden, a hand waves, hey, Allan, Judd, and she came over to us, and it was Whitney Houston, and she was even more beautiful in person than you could even imagine.
Wow. Julian.
Yes. Well, what inspired you to write music?
Take it, Dolly.
No, go ahead.
I can't get him to go first. He wants to make sure I say so, then he can figure it out. What inspired me? It wasn't a decision. It just has always been in me. Since I was a very, very little kid, and I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I was a gift I was given that I always did music from the time I was very, very little, and I just loved it. I always loved it, and what inspires me, life. I see things and I feel things, and I want to communicate them to other people and touch other people.
And what makes you write music?
Oh, I draw a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you always drawn since you were a little kid?
I took a lot of art classes.
Yes. But you always loved it, right?
I loved it.
It's just sometimes you just feel something.
Sometimes
it's just in you. It's in you. So
Yeah. Tucker.
Hi. Hey, Tucker.
Tucker's got a date tonight.
You got a date tonight? He was on. You were on a John Tucker Emmy Award-winning show.
Yeah,
5 years.
What show?
It was called Born This Way on A&E.
Dude.
And
What was it called?
Yeah, Born This Way.
So you're also a rapper too, at least now.
Oh. We should be asking you questions.
Quick question. I remember you said that you were working at Beverly Hills Hotel. Were you there when she died though? When it was after you were working with were you there when she died at Beverly Hills Hotel?
When who?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
The question is, were you there when she passed away at Beverly
We
Hills?
were not at the hotel, but I remember reading it, waking up that morning and finding out about it.
I remember where I was when I heard
I remember
about it.
too.
Wow.
It was heartbreaking. She was so special, and it was such a big loss. It was such good.
It's amazing how there's people in the people in that you don't necessarily even know that you remember where you were, like and like her, like Whitney, like Princess Diana.
Yeah.
And it was the Beverly Hilton Hotel,
Yeah, but, yeah.
not the Beverly Hills Hotel.
And is it true that her song "I Always Love You" was sung by Dolly
Parton. She wrote it.
She wrote that,
Okay.
and then Whitney did it.
I thought if we had written, you'd be coming to visit us in Bel Air in our jacuzzi.
Let's do Bernadette.
Bernadette. That's ready. Hi, Bernadette.
Hi, you talk music kind of. You said that you how lang is it? Thank you. Could you help us connect with that timeless, hit up island words or whatever, then the fusion, something's going on, I'm guessing the cultural feelings.
Yeah.
I wanted you guys to know the strength for two girls here. I'm older, like they're installing. And when I was younger, I was understand better, but around the phone, do you understand with music? Sometimes you have kind of hard time communicating, so you can send me a link to a song.
Oh, that's great.
Exactly like she's finishing playing, but the went through her mind.
Wow.
It's so amazing that you guys put music together that helps people communicate. And like,
Thank you.
Yeah. And heal. You know, music is the healer.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ralphie C is here in the house, musician.
Ralphie C.
Thank you. Questions good to meet you all. My question is on your songwriting process. You guys have a specific focus on who you write with or artists you choose to write with for future, like, is it contract based or you will get to like,
Do I have to start again, Don? Every time. There are no rules. There are no rules in any of this stuff. But generally, these days, we only write with artists who have record deals or have something really special going on with their careers, or for projects that have some kind of budget that are actually in process, like a TV show or a film, because we've written a lot of songs that have slipped through the cracks, and it's so, you finish the session, you're so excited about the song, and then if you don't have a home for it, it's very frustrating. So we try to find situations where there's a good chance that the song will actually come out and have a chance of being successful. That's more of a business decision than anything else. So.
Yes, sir.
Hey, my name is Mike.
All right, you got to know your names. You got to start with your name.
And I love your bling.
My name is Mike. Your name is Mike?
No, but thing has been in my head ever since you guys came here. Would you consider yourself on the same page as Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, or no, it's different?
You got to take this
I
one, Don.
wish.
So
Jen and I have met
so you
met
guys
Jimmy
are not
Jam
on
and
the
Terry
same-
Lewis.
you wouldn't call yourself on the same category.
No, with that. Go ahead, Don.
They're specific. I mean, they've written, of course, written incredible songs for, especially Janet
I was
Jackson.
just about to say that.
Yeah.
But that, that's what they're known for. But they're really slamming producers,
So they're not
and they're
really
executives.
close to you guys,
I don't know.
in
Music
a
is
way.
music, but they tend to do a very different type of music than we do.
But I will tell you one
Amazing.
thing.
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing. When I Don't Have the Heart was coming up on the charts, Black Cat was like number 2,
Yeah.
and I said we're not going to go to number 1 because Black Cat's going to beat us. And James Ingram, may he rest in peace, said, "Where's your trust? I'm telling you, we're going to number 1." And we jumped over Black Cat and we went and we beat Black Cat.
I love that.
So we may not be Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, but we did jump over her and get number 1.
And Janet has never forgiven.
Oh, Janet. Damn it, Janet. I love you. Okay. In the back there.
yes. My name is Denzel Campbell. I just wanted to ask you, because you, during the first hour of the interview, you were talking about your songwriting process in all kinds of ways with David and Joe. And you brought up that, nowadays,
Bless you.
nowadays artists gotta write their own song. So either write it or co-write something. And so that leads me to ask this. Have you guys heard about ghostwriting in the music industry? And if you do, and if you did, how you feel? Because ghostwriting is everywhere, and even artists talk about it in their songs.
I don't know about ghostwriting per se. I do know that although if you look at the credits on the songs,
Yeah.
virtually every song is written or co-written by the artist. It says in print. Do those artists in every case really contribute to the song? who knows? There are some artists. There are a lot of artists out there who are fantastic songwriters. There's some who are not fantastic songwriters.
The reason I bring this
Yeah.
up is because the people that say that they wrote the song on a specific song, some of those things are on there now. That say makes me wrong.
Excuse me? What?
You know, some of the names are like in the written by
Credits, yeah.
credits in songs. Like some of those names true, or they could be false.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Jeff.
I think that, as I said, sometimes the artist is going to put their name on the song, whether or not they were significantly involved in writing. And there has been a bit of a scandal the last few years because songwriters like us have always known this, that the artists try to get songwriting credit. Why? Because there's a lot of money in the songs.
Yeah.
They want to make the money from having the songs be successful, and they're songwriters. Generally, the other people who are not the artists on the song, to get those credits, man, you have to have the artist and the publishing companies and everybody agree that you were a writer on the song because there's so much money at stake. So I think a lot of those people, they may not have contributed that much. Sometimes you see 10 people listed as writers on the song. Maybe one of them just got pizza for the group or something. But
Sandra's a singer.
Sandra,
Yes.
what's up?
How long do you know with you?
Oh, Lord.
How long do you know her?
How long did we know her?
Years.
Dolly, take that one. Come on, please.
Well, The Bodyguard was in 1991, I think.
92 it came out.
And it came out in 92.
Yeah.
So, we did not know her very well. We met her several times, but I'd say just a couple of years. But when we got nominated for an Academy Award, she sent us roses.
Yeah. She was fantastic, but we didn't keep in touch with her over the years.
Right.
I love her so much. It's like I miss her already.
We miss her too.
Eric Chris.
My name is I'm Eric.
Everybody else in the audience, please.
I want to know.
Hi, Eric.
My question is, do you write songs with the title of football songs?
Oh, I wish I wrote Chris Brown songs.
He's a lover of Chris Brown.
Oh, you love Chris Brown?
Yeah.
No.
We haven't written a song with Chris Brown.
No, but he's pretty.
But he's fantastic.
He's pretty great. Pretty
artist,
great.
Great singer.
And I think you have good taste.
There you go.
Just don't date him.
Yeah.
Right. I have a question about you. You've worked with so many people, and they have worked with you. Is there someone? I mean, I grew up. Every time I would visit my brother, and he lived up in Tahoe, Reno area. And this when I was like 13 we would drive around in his Jensen Interceptor 3, and he would get a car every other year. And we would listen to Kenny Loggins.
Oh.
And
Kenny Loggins.
what is it like working with Kenny Loggins? And the second part of that question is there someone that you've worked with that you want to work with again?
Well, you talk about tell the Kenny Loggins story. 'Cause it's such an
Okay, Kenny Loggins is we didn't actually make that record with him. That's a song we wrote for a film called One Fine Day with Michelle Pfeiffer and George Clooney, and it was nominated for an Academy Award. And we wrote the song for the film, and there's a lot of stories about what happened as usual, a very long and winding, not so fast kind of path to get it. But finally, Kenny Loggins recorded it and puts it out, and it did very well. I think it was a number one
adult
contemporary song. So when this is who Kenny Loggins is, okay? It was nominated for Golden Globe as well. But before it was nominated for Golden Globe, the way the Golden Globe organization used to do things, I don't know if they still do, they had a huge couple-of-day event where all the film companies would come over to their building and talk to them and try to get nominations. They would talk about the film, they would be interviewed, they would play songs, in our case, right? So they had Kenny Loggins, the film company had Kenny Loggins and a piano player, a guy we've worked with named Robbie Buchanan. He played our song just on the piano. Remember we were talking about the difference between just on the piano and fully produced? Well, the movie version was fully produced. They played just a piano vocal version of it with Kenny singing it. So they play it once, take a little break, more people leave, more people come in, they play it again. Both times Kenny Loggins sang it perfectly. I mean, the guy was unbelievable. But afterwards, they had all the Golden Globes members come in, to ask him questions. And just like this, they were setting up, but it was a bigger room and a big stage.
Yeah.
So he's sitting up there with the interviewer, right? And they're taking questions from the audience. And I think it was somebody from the audience, not the interviewer, right? Yeah, I think it was somebody from the audience goes, the very first question. So who wants to ask Kenny a question? So someone in the audience says, and remember, we didn't write the song with Kenny. We wrote it for the film, and he sang it. And usually he does write his songs. But someone raises their hand. So Kenny, when you were writing this song, and he goes, wait, I usually write my songs, but this one I didn't actually write. But you know what? The songwriters of the song are here in the audience. Allan and Judd, come up on stage with me.
I love that.
I mean, now this guy was a huge star, and it's, as you know from being in the entertainment business, pretty unusual for somebody who's a real big star to let somebody else take in some of the sun that's shining on him. It's pretty unusual. So he was so great. And then he sent us telegrams and stuff, or whatever, faxes after we got nominated for the Academy. He's such a great guy. And right now, we're trying to get him to put a vocal on a song we wrote for David's documentary
project
about all this. So, everything crossed.
Everything's crossed. Cross your toes, fingers, and
Anyway, what was the other question? Another artist we'd like to work with again?
Is there an artist that you worked with before that you want to work with again?
Well, I'm going to switch that question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the artist that I would like to work with, that I would have liked to have worked with, that I didn't get a chance to work with.
Oh, yes.
And it was in the mix. When Judd and I wrote So Help Me God, the gospel song, Ray Charles wanted to record it, and Aretha Franklin wanted to record it. And Ray Charles got there first. But I would have loved in my lifetime to have had Aretha Franklin record one of my songs, but we didn't.
Well, what couldn't it be a duet?
I don't know. Maybe
Let's
it
go
could
back
have.
in time.
I know that's suggestion.
But Aretha Franklin is the one that got away from me.
Yeah.
That I would have loved to have had record one of our songs.
Most of the experiences we had working with artists, with a few notable exceptions, were really, really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to write another song for or with Whitney, not here.
Yeah.
James Ingram, unbelievable. You know, we've been very blessed to work with some really special artists. So there's hardly anybody out there I wouldn't want to work with again.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, because now she's so famous, she's one of the most famous people in the world, but when she wasn't so famous, she did a PBS special, and she opened the show with our song, I Just Had to Hear Your Voice, and that was Cynthia Erivo.
Oh, yes.
You know, Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah.
So on the PBS special, I watched the special. We had no idea. No one ever told us. And she opens the song with our Olita Adams song, I Just Have to Hear Your Voice. And it was an amazing. Judd and I would like to work with her right now.
Please call her for us. Okay?
Cynthia!
Happens to be here.
Ain't no mountain high enough. Oh my God. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up because my favorite song of yours, and actually one of my top 10 favorite of all time is I Just Had to Hear Your Voice. I can't even speak because how did that come about? What was the creation of that song that Alita?
He's going to remember it differently than I do.
Okay.
So why don't you start now?
No, I remember I wrote a lyric, and I ran by part of the lyric to Judd, and then we wrote the rest of the lyric together.
Yeah.
How do you hear it?
So the first song we ever wrote was I Don't Have the Heart. The second song we ever wrote was I Just Had to Hear Your Voice.
Right.
So I said, okay, we did all right with I Don't Have the Heart. What are we going to do next? So he said, I have this other idea.
Yeah.
And here it is. I don't really have it in lyric form, though. I have just a bunch of ideas all over the place. I write lyrics, too. He gave me 2 full single-spaced pages of words.
Yeah.
Just all, could do this, what about this? Here's another idea. And I just went into my studio and sat down with him, and I tried to shape him into a lyric that worked for me. And that's how we wrote the song.
Whichever way it worked, it worked.
It worked.
And how did it go to Alita?
I don't remember. How did it get to Alita?
I know. What's his name? XD.
Oh, Ed Eckstein was
Ed Eckstein.
her,
We pitched the demo to
was
Ed,
her record executive.
Right. And
we had a relationship with him, and he loved the song and gave it to her.
Oh.
And then here's an example of, we were talking about production versus songwriting, okay?
Yeah.
We did a very simple version of that song again.
piano vocal, which we really loved. But we always figured it would be produced more. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say simple versus the fully produced, right? Everybody kind of understands.
Yeah.
So she went off, and I like to produce when I'm working with artists, not because I enjoy production per se, but because I want to make sure the song comes out the way we have it in our heads. That one did not come out the way we had it in our heads. It's still very beautiful, the way she did it, Alita, but as she was doing it, I said, before she started doing it, I said to Ed, why don't you let me get involved in production? No, she has her vision, she has people she works with. Okay, all right, fine. So they were sending us versions of the song along the way, and it was, the way she did it was very much like she's a lounge singer. She's in a lounge.
That's who she was.
That's kind of who she was. And we were like, no, this song could be so much cooler than this, and why don't we? She wanted to do it the way she did. And it ended up being the #1 song in adult contemporary, but we always felt it could have been even bigger.
Right. You can do another version.
And you know very well that a lot of times they do these videos to the song, and the video had absolutely nothing to do. This was a song about a heartbreak, about someone who broke up with somebody, and they just wanted to hear their voice before they went to sleep.
It's a late night call. That's the whole song.
And this video had absolutely nothing. It was, excuse my French, do you know what a T&A video is? Am I allowed to say it?
Tits and ass.
She was wearing a midriff top, and she wasn't.
Chorus line.
And she was walking along the beach. That had nothing to do with that.
Who knew that this band was going to be so X-rated?
See, am I going to get fired? Am I going to get fired again?
You're fired. Anyway, yeah, it was, but we do love that song.
Well,
it's one of my favorite songs.
One of our favorite songs.
Oh, it's incredible. Thank you. I mean, it got me through. For me, everybody interprets whatever they hear in their own way and through their own life experiences. And that song hit me because it was a friend who I just had to hear your voice, and he had committed suicide.
Yeah.
So it really, I interpreted it that way, but it gives me that life and that love and that connection, and it's so beautiful. I know we only have about 10 more minutes left.
Did you find the song?
Joe has the song, huh?
I just thought before we leave, because it's time to go, that Joe would play you the new Jessica Betts song.
Yeah.
Maybe we get up and we dance a little together and stuff before we leave. Is that okay, David?
What do you say? 2 more questions and then the music?
I have it pulled up, but we have to turn the TV on for it.
Perfect. Now, Joe, did you? I know you mentioned before. Did you have a question?
One question.
John. One sec. Joe, did you?
Yes, I did have a question.
Okay, stand up, say your name, and
scream.
My name is Joe Carter, and my question is,
Hi, Joe.
Is that when you first started, writing songs back in the 80s, it was different, and then you had to, go to a recording studio and record it, but nowadays, people can record it at home or at a recording studio.
Yep.
So my question is, do you guys have a home recording studio?
He does.
And then do you record the song at home, and then do you send the demos out, or what do you guys do?
Yeah, I've always had a studio, so I've always been able to work at home. And along the way, sometimes we've gone to professional recording studios to record certain aspects of the songs or entire songs, depending on the situation. But the vast majority of our stuff that we've worked on, we've recorded in my home studio, wherever that was. It's changed over the years a lot. And as I said before, these days, you don't really send the demos out so much because there aren't as many opportunities to write a song and then send them to an artist, It's more like, let's write the song with the artist.
Right.
So usually the artist is in the studio with you working on it. You're not really sending out demos that much anymore. You're making the record with the artist in real time as you're writing it. So I hope that answers the question.
well, one more question from somebody who hasn't. Yes, right there.
Okay, me. Okay.
Oh.
All right, two more questions.
Two more questions.
Okay.
You can ask them at the same time. Go.
Okay. Okay, my name's Matthew Selden. I'm an animator.
Matt?
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
The question is, so how long do you write songs, like, throughout the years?
Like how long
How
does
long
it take?
have we been writing songs, or
Yeah.
how long does it take to write a song?
So how long it takes to write songs?
How long it takes to write a song? Take it.
Well,
time.
here's a question for you, Matt. How long does it take to animate? Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, and other times it can take an hour, and other times it can take a month.
Yeah, it took like a month to like animate.
Right, so sometimes it happens very fast.
Yeah.
If we get inspired, and sometimes we may be missing a line and it takes us a week or 2 weeks to get that one line.
I've worked
So
on songs for months sometimes.
Right.
And Allan's attention span is about 5-10
my
minutes.
attention span.
So if we don't get it in the first 5 or 10 minutes, we have to come back.
Can I
and
make
do
you
it.
laugh? Jed always says to me, we're sitting for 2 hours or 3 hours. I know, Allan, you worked a very long day today. I only
It's
worked
been a
2
hard
hours.
day.
It's been a hard day. Judd can sit there for 10 hours. My attention span is so short that after I pour everything out, I'm done. And
You should be honored that he's still
and I
sitting up
fall,
here.
and I fall asleep. And I fall asleep too.
I'll look over at it. Anyway, so yeah, it varies.
All right. Last question, and then we're gonna do the music. Yes. You can open it. You can do what you need to do.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ryan Jameson.
Hi,
Ryan,
Ryan.
hey Ryan.
Do you guys still write music on pen and paper?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. What?
Do you guys still write songs on pen and paper?
No.
Well, I will say this. People ask me, what instrument do you play? And I say, I play the pencil. Because I still use a pencil or a pen, and I use a blank piece of paper. I don't want to write on a computer. I want to scribble like I'm a doctor and can't even read my writing and just put it all over the place. That's how I still like to work.
Well, in other words, we still will write words sometimes. I love working on a computer. I hate writing on paper these days because I can't even read my own writing. So, but in terms of writing the music out, like C clef, bass clef, and actually writing it out with chord changes, very rare. It happens a lot though that people ask us for chord charts, and then I'll make one and send
You
it to
just
them.
did that recently for Jessica,
I just
right?
did it recently for this song.
Yeah.
Actually, that perfect segue.
Yeah.
I wrote a chord chart for her, and there you go.
There you go.
And this is the song
And
that
so
we wrote that she just
this
released.
is a new song that we wrote with Jessica.
This is great.
If you feel like you want to stand up and move around, because I mean it's a mid to up tempo. We could just have a little dance off right now before we have to leave.
Say she's tough. I don't say enough about that woman.
Wanna get up?
You can say she's slick. Let her do the trick. She's got some magic. She blew my heart out of her hand. That ain't the only part I will ever tell. She's really and I can't wait to push her, but she's wrong. She's wrong. She's a girl, she's a boss. I wanna make her cry. This girl is wrong. And I just want more. She's like the best sushi you've never had. You can say she's fire. Shows me like a wire. She's been pressured on God. Better what the fuck I gotta have it. Girls got it under control. I just wanna roll. She's a fire, and I can't wait to watch her. But she's wrong. She's wrong. She's bad. She's a boss. I wanna make her crazy. But she's wrong. And I just want more. She's like the best sushi you've never had. And she is fun, but she takes back. I think you know what I mean. She's like the best sushi you've ever had. She's like a sushi. Oh yeah, she's like the best sushi you've ever had. She's and I can't wait to touch her. She's
The sustainable salmon and urban plate is so crazy.
Judd Friedman, Allan Rich! Thank you guys.
Your face is beaming. You say it's 'cause you're dreaming of how good it's going to be. You say you've been around, and now you've finally found everything you wanted and needed in me. Well, I don't have the heart to hurt you. It's the last thing I'd wanna do, but I don't have the heart to love you. Not the way you want me to. Inside, I'm dying to see you crying. How can I make you understand? I care about you so much about you. I'm trying to say this as gently as I can, 'cause I don't have the heart to hurt you. It's the last thing I'd wanna do. I don't have the heart to love you, not the way you want me to. You're so trusting and open, hoping that love will start. But I don't have the heart. Oh no, I don't have the heart. I don't have the heart to hurt you. It's the last thing I'd wanna do, but I don't have the heart to love you, not the way that you want me to. I don't have the heart to hurt you. It's the last thing I'd wanna do, but I don't have the heart to love you. Not the way you want me to. Oh, not the way you want me to. Thank you.